Hello and welcome back to my late life lesbian journey. On my channel, I discuss and share my journey and process of going from being married to a man, getting divorced, and coming out as a lesbian. Please subscribe if you haven't, so you get notified whenever I make new videos. And for those of you who have subscribed, thank you so much and welcome back. So, in this video, I want to address a topic that often comes up with like late life lesbian or late to gay people. And that question often is, so I'll address it from my standpoint as a lesbian. The question and sort of the issue that comes up is a lot of people ask, how can you really be a lesbian and really identify as a lesbian when you were married to a man? Because, people want to say that you're bi because, you were in this relationship with this man and like had this hetero life, but then now you're saying you like women. And so I think people just have a hard time wrapping their mind around, how can you go from like one to the other? And so speaking from my experience and speaking from what I've heard from other people in, similar experiences, is one of the biggest things is that, we just didn't know this about ourselves due to our upbringing, due to the things that we were exposed to when we were younger. Just a lot of us were raised in very religious families and just were taught, that you get married to a man, you have kids, like that's just how things go. And, even for a lot of us, we were taught, that being gay or lesbian, like the homosexual lifestyle was wrong. And so a lot of us just never even really thought about it or considered it. Or if we had thoughts or feelings towards the same sex person, we rationalized it away and tried to like justify it in our own way to, think it could, like there's no way that could possibly mean that we're gay or lesbian or anything like that, but just that, there's just some underlying reason why, maybe we had a thought about that or why we feel that way. And so it takes a long time for us to finally really realize, no, that's actually not something just to sort of like dismiss, and actually is a part of, and not a part of, but is who we are. So how can you be gay, being with a man, but then being with a woman? And even for me, a lot of you that have followed my journey and listened, I openly share that I very much so loved my ex-husband. And I can even admit I was attracted to him. And, there wasn't really an issue per se, with like our physical life and my attraction to him. But it was still just something was missing. And so, so again, people want to argue and say, well, then of course that means you're bi or you're pan or whatever. But, I identify as a lesbian because now in my life, even though I had that relationship, for me, I have no desire to be with any other man or any man in a romantic way, in a physical way, anything like that. I can still look at a man and be like, oh, that's an attractive individual. But I have plenty of straight girlfriends who can look at other women and be like, oh, wow, she's really pretty. But that's it. That's where it stops. There is no desire. There is no want. You don't find like physical desire towards this person. You can just appreciate the fact that they're an attractive individual. And so for me, I identify as a lesbian because I have no desire for a man. There's no want, no desire. And so even though, I was in that relationship and, I always say overall was happy in that relationship, it ultimately just is not what I wanted for my life. And it's not what I feel fits into my life and satisfies my romantic, desires for a relationship. And so to get back to sort of that core question, it might be difficult for you to understand, but it is a very real and a very true thing. And nobody can really label anybody else besides that person. That person, it knows who they are and what they want, and they're the only one that gets to label themselves. But it is possible, due to the things that I talked about, to go from being in a hetero relationship to realizing, you know what, this actually isn't who I am, to then coming out and identifying as gay or lesbian. So I hope that maybe that clears up or offers a little bit of a different perspective or insight for people who may be questioning that. I don't know. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. I'm always open to having a conversation and a discussion. So anyways, as I said, please subscribe if you haven't. You can also follow me on Instagram at ecbettis, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thanks.